So, today we're going to break down a really practical guide for selling adventure gear online. And look, this isn't for some giant corporation with a massive business plan. Nope, this is for real people. People with a passion for the outdoors who want to turn that into a cool side business, without it completely taking over their lives.
Have you ever been out on a trail or maybe sitting by a campfire and thought, hey, I could totally sell this stuff? Maybe turn that love for adventure into a bit of a side hustle?
But then reality hits. The thought of building a website, wrestling with plugins, payment gateways, all that tech stuff, it just makes you want to go lie down in a dark room and forget the whole idea, right? Well, trust me, you are not alone.
That's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We're going to take that ambition and turn it into a simple, really clear plan. No tech headaches, I promise.
Okay, first things first. You want to know the absolute fastest way to fail at this? It's buying a random mix of what you think is cool stuff and just hoping the internet magically sends you customers. It's a perfect recipe for a garage full of gear you can't sell.
So, what's the secret? It's this, right here. The quickest way to actually win is to pick a specific customer and solve their specific problems. Honestly, this one little shift in thinking changes everything.
And that leads us right to our first big step, finding your niche. The goal here isn't to sell to everybody. It's to become the go-to person for a very specific type of adventurer.
Just think about the difference for a second. Adventure gear. That's huge. It's vague. You're competing with massive retailers. But what about kit for wild swimmers? Suddenly you're a specialist. You get their specific needs, like staying warm or having a good changing robe. It's so much easier to market.
So, who is your customer? Are they those weekend campers who just want simple, reliable gear that works? Or maybe they're dog owners who are out hiking in every kind of weather and need tough stuff for them and their furry friend. Once you can picture that person, every other decision becomes 100 times easier.
Okay, so you know who you're selling to. Now it's time to pick your products. And the key here, especially at the beginning, is to start smart. We're talking about things that are easy to ship, easy to sell, and easy to explain.
The source calls these gateway products, and I love that term. Think about it. Head torches, dry bags, first aid kits. Nobody spends weeks researching these. They're easy add-on purchases, and the return risk is super low. This is where your profit starts to quietly build up in the background. Now this is the sweet spot for a new seller. Items like lightweight day packs, trekking poles, or my personal favorite, merino socks. Why? Well, they've got a higher price tag, but the return rate is still really low because sizing isn't a huge issue. These are the products that make you real money without creating a ton of customer service headaches.
And just a quick word of warning here, be really careful with things like footwear or technical jackets when you're just starting out. Sizing issues can cause a flood of returns, and that can absolutely crush your profits and your motivation when you're just getting off the ground.
All right, let's talk about building your shop. And yes, we're going to do this without that tech headache we talked about at the beginning. So the first big decision you have to make is this. Are you going to sell on a marketplace like Etsy or eBay, or are you going to build your very own online shop? Let's just break down the trade-offs. A marketplace like Etsy is great because it already has customers. But man, those fees can add up, and the competition is fierce. With your own site, you get to build a real brand, you get repeat customers, and you keep way more of the profit. But, and it's a big but, you have to bring in all your own traffic. So, if the thought of actually building that website yourself is the thing stopping you, the absolute simplest way forward is a done-for-you service. Seriously. You get to focus on the fun stuff, the products, and the customers, and you let someone else handle the tech. And this is where it gets really, really accessible. The service that actually inspired this whole guide, for instance, offers a complete e-commerce setup. We're talking hosting, support, everything, for around £99 a year. Come on! Solutions like that completely remove that huge initial barrier.
Okay, we're getting close. You've got your niche, you've picked your starter products, and you have a plan for your shop. So let's talk about actually launching this thing without feeling totally overwhelmed. A simple, practical plan is all you're going to need.
And here it is, your 30-day launch plan, broken down into dead simple weekly steps. Week 1, niche and products. Week 2, sourcing and packaging. Week 3, build the shop and write your descriptions. And week 4, you launch. See? This turns a huge, scary project into 4 totally manageable chunks. And marketing? Forget about feeling all salesy and weird. Just get into a simple weekly rhythm like this one. One helpful tip,
One photo of a product actually being used, one cool bundle idea, and one little behind-the-scenes moment. It's all about being consistent and genuinely helpful, not just shouting into the internet void.
So, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. As a small seller, you don't compete on price. You compete on clarity and on trust. You get to be the person who explains things clearly, who helps customers make the right choice. That is your superpower against the big box retailers.
And that brings us to the end. So let's just leave it with this one final thought. Forget the giant 5-year business plan for a minute. What is the one specific problem your ideal customer has that you could solve with a product or even just a piece of advice today? Just start right there.